I mean, words have feelings. I was thinking it's like patterns, right? Your life is a set of patterns triggered by thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And words have emotions, means I just attach to them certain ways. They're just all patterns. It's like an addiction, word addiction. That's the same as it's just another word for pattern. You know, me and society can't have a positive addiction. Addiction just has such a negative word, a negative connotation, a negative feeling from my perspective. So interesting. There's no room for it to be positive. No, does it have to be? The awareness has to be. I think that focus amplifies that feeling, whichever feeling we're focusing on, which is then how we experience our life.
Exactly.
How we orient to it. It's the good, bad, right, wrong, those patterns.
And believing in that.
Yeah.
From a moral perspective is so different from just seeing the consequences of it in terms of what your choice is.
Yeah, choice. Forgetting that all patterns are started with a choice.
Mm.
All momentum. See, momentum can be good or bad, positive or negative.
Mm.
So when we attach to it and take it personal, which is what I mean, words have charges, they have feelings. We get attached to them, we defend them, we run from them. And rather than exploring, what if they could be the other charge? How could it be?
How could it be? Such a wonderful question.
Magical word of could. But in a need to know, you have to have the answer. Could and I don't know have very little room.
I was working with somebody the other day, and there was a huge aha moment. And what happened was that there was a very dense negative experience. And she didn't want to engage with it. And I validated why that might be. And then I said, how else could it be? And at first there was a lot of resistance to that, because that is not what her primary and overall memory of it all was. And I just waited. And I said, let's just wait and see what comes. And so we did that together. And then slowly there were these small but very impactful memories for her. And then she looked at me, she said, but they weren't there enough. And I said, yes, they weren't then. Because the person that we were talking about, it was her sister, had died. And I said, so where's she now? And does that still have to be relevant and what you carry forward with you now? And she looked at me and she said, I never realized one could change one's memories. And that was what was so amazing for me, that she jumped from this really dense, completely enveloping experience. And she could free herself from it. It was amazing.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Like just that realization that, that she could reframe her memory.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
massive. It was really big. We don't usually realize that at all. So I was thinking about that concept of changing habits, Jess, where we were talking about, I'd listened to a video, neuropsychologist talking about how to change habit. And with the research that they'd done was that they'd found that even if you engage in your old habit, but you bring a new action immediately before, if you've got enough awareness to do it, or after.
Yeah.
Just, it's got to be really, really immediately after. Then without you, then you don't have to focus on changing the old habit. You focus on creating what new habits could you have to replace the old ones.
Mhm.
And then people just, I can't remember what the time span was, and it's not really important. But eventually, just by focusing on the new habit, the old habit dropped away. So they didn't have to work so hard at dropping the old one away. And that's also got to do with focus. And what are you focusing on? You're focusing on the replacement, or you're focusing on what was?
Mhm. Therefore, again, there's the time tense.
Yes.
The
Past,
focus of
present.
the time tense.
Yeah.
And I do accept your, I do accept that you challenged me on the why you can't, like, as a step. And what I realized with that, that is just bringing the past back into existence.
Yeah, yeah. Which is what most therapy actually does.
Mhm,
It gives it life again.
mhm,
Yes. And at the same time, again, for me, it's not about not validating it. I think it's hugely important. You have to, because otherwise you lose the person.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to validate that. But then you bring it, you bring the could. You bring the could in. What could this
yeah,
be?
yeah,
And that was what ignited for her, was what could it be?
yeah. Yeah, the ability to actually change the energy in the memory, to change the interpretation of it, to change the charge in it.
Well, to change the charge of the experience with the person, I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure you could change the charge of the memory, but I don't go for that. I just because
What I
massive.
heard there was it gives it a pathway out,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which is another way of letting go. Is you could call it a replacement, because then there's
yeah,
that's not being charged anymore. It's let go of.
yeah.
yeah.
It gives it a completion.
Yeah, which a new focus. It can be another focus that, oh, now I focus on that and not that one anymore, because that was just kept playing and playing and playing, which is why it came into existence when you were working.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about why we can't. Thanks for the validation, like to work with them in the validation of why we can't. It's like to bring existence to it. And I was thinking also is that's what I'm checking for.
Yeah,
The intuition is checking for. Why can't you? And then also checking, like, what do you want?
Yes. That definitely came into her choice, right?
What a great example of flowing.
Mm. Mm.
stuck, negative, grief, pain,
Mm,
float into something different.
mm,
Without all the hard work.
mm.
Okay.
Oh, you went.
A little bit, just a little bit. You want to do something fun today?
Yeah, why not?
Want to go to brunch or let's do a show
Sure.
or relax here and watch a movie?
No, don't put it on there because it's wet.
Let's see a movie.
You know what I love is also the growth and expansion that we spoke about early on today, how we came into this conversation, you know, about nature and how we look at it and how we see it. And it can be different every time. Yeah. And it's how we're putting and where we're putting our awareness. But what I really love and what I'm feeling now is the questioning that we don't have to go anything further than what we're seeing and what we're knowing, you know, because it's always the questioning is very important, but it's that knowing now. It's the knowing of just doing it. And you're never going to really know everything, but that's what you know, what you practice. And when you practice, the momentum just comes. Yeah. And this is where I feel where I am in my life, you know, the whole thing of knowing from course to course to course to course to learning to repeating to listen to webinars, blah, 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 blah. I mean, how many times must you really go through that to really say, are you ready? Because you're never going to be ready. You're never going to be ready. So this is where I look at it in a whole understanding of just in everything now, you know, because
Yes.
I can look back at my memory. I can look back at my habits. I can look back about just yesterday or even going through, like I woke up in the morning and I had a major focus of something that really took my attention and it actually made me feel quite heavy. And I felt like, oh, this is loaded, you know, it's like I'm gonna have to get on the, you know, make a plan now and do something in a sense of call, blah, blah. And then I waited and I said, no, have your coffee, you know, just have your coffee first. Enjoy your coffee. And then you know, for what it's for, and that's what I just came to realize that, you know, going through all that and having to have that walk and everything, that thing that made me really feel very loaded and tight, because I was feeling it in my body, immediately you feel it in your body. You know that as I was coming back and we got off the call yesterday, that thing that popped up, the answer came. When the answer came, I texted, the text came, the person says, come to me, boom. And I promise you what I felt, that what I was going for in the sense of wanting, it delivered. I'm true as living God. It's true as living God. It delivered. And it delivered in such a way, there was no force. I was so excited when the person says, no, I said, I'm passing by, I have time now. Oh, yes. Came in. And even if it was other people there or blah, 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 it was pure understanding and sitting there. And I was just not expecting. I wasn't expecting. I was just there. And because I was there and I showed up, the person delivered. It just delivered in a way that above that I could ever expect. And that is not in my control. That is not in my control. But what was in my control was me allowing what I want to feel and vibrate and let go of. Because there was a charge for sure, because I wanted to fix it. I wanted to fix it. I wanted to fix it now, this moment, in this time now. And then I realized, no, that's going to go wrong, baby girl. You're going to get slapped and it's going to hurt. You're not going to do that. You've done that before. You're impulsive. You're impatient. And you just want to get it done. You just want it because now it's what you want. No, timing. Timing is not right. It's starting your day. What are you doing?
you just woken up. And this is what happens when you have to know, no, this is a pattern that I've gone through so many times in my life. And I promise you, man, I can actually grateful to witness this and to verbalize it, because I verbalized it early this morning with such gratitude, because the breakthrough there was the change. It's the change, because it was just the change. And that person I am so grateful for, because it's like gave me exactly what I needed. You know what I mean? Like needed.
Just wonderful, Nikki.
Isn't it just like profound how awesome that can, how awesome it is?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, and that person's appreciated, and she feels validated. She feels like I could also be there as a witness for somebody else, and give her the compliment that she needs. She needed. And to know that she's measuring up, she's doing just fine. And you could see it in her behavior, because she went above and beyond for me in things that I never asked, but she gave it. She gave it. Like, just gave it. And I went, and when I walked away, I said to myself, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, that I did not act on my impulse, that I waited. I waited. Oh my God, did I wait? And I thank God I waited, because I could have fucked
Nikki,
up.
You know what you realize what you did?
Oh, please tell me, Alison.
You broke your monkey mind.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus. I'm telling you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
It's a big deal.
I'm telling you, it's beyond. It's like I was thinking to myself, wow. Gee, thank you, God. Thank you. And it was such an ease and such a flow, because it's just amazing. There was nothing for me to do. There was just me there. And then taking on that day was just a momentum. It just followed through my day.
So it's like what we said earlier, right? You got the support that you needed.
I got the support.
It's really interesting because I think that's what makes it so difficult for us sometimes to break.
And thank
you. To break that need for what we believe to be safe.
Oh,
right.
Thank you, Alison. Thank you for putting it out, the support, because when I focused on knowing that she's going to support me, not because, and this is the truth, I believe that she's going to support me. And I went in that morning knowing that I see it. I actually have witnessed it. I'm actually experiencing it with her. And then when I was there in her apartment, it just happened. The support was like there. And it's in such a beautiful way that it was nurturing. It nurtured my soul. Yeah. And it was like, wow, that's living. To me, that's living. I was breathing, living, experiencing it. And I appreciated it so much, Yeah. The support.
So when you brought this term up, that's living, I was thinking of book titles. And a young man, he was a son of a friend of mine. So the book title that I was thinking of, that I was gifted once, and I couldn't read it. I saw the book title and I thought, I cannot read this. The title was Half a Life.
Oh God, yeah.
And it resonated so throughout my body. And I don't know if I've still got the book, but I thought maybe in 10 years' time I'll be able to read it. And It's 20 years later. I don't know if I've still got it. I've got to look for it. I think I might have actually given it away. But so that was the title of that book. And then my girlfriend sent me what they included in the celebration of life for Shane's passing. And this young kid was 19, and he had lived most of his life in and out of hospital or otherwise very long periods of recovery at home. He had cystic fibrosis, and he was only diagnosed like 11 or 12.
Oh,
And at 19, he wrote this most astoundingly beautiful rendition of how his life was a privileged life.
wow. Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to go and look for it because I haven't spoken about it.
Yeah,
for-
we should look for it. Do you know the author's name?
Well, this is a personal thing that was written, right? It wasn't. Yeah, so it was, but it was just the contrast for me.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wow.
You know, I mean, maybe the book had taken that attitude. I don't know, because I just couldn't engage with it. I honored the gift because it was from somebody who I respected, but I couldn't engage with it.
I love how you're bringing up books because I love words. I love books. And what I put down on one of my lenses is to read a book. Well, I'm not going to, I give it 30 days, you know, but to read a book, yeah, and to done and completely in 30 days. And the reason why I do that is because it gives me the focus, even if I do it 15 minutes a day or any, you know, but read the actual book. Not from an iPhone or from a computer, but read the actual book. And I think it's really interesting because, yeah, you know, you become what you read. Hey, it's interesting. You become what you read.
Do you have a book targeted?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned it.
Good.
Yeah, so.
So another book that I was given as a gift, Nikki, was, the book title is In Love with the World.
Mm.
And when I got that, it was perfect timing because at that point I just thought, this is what I really do need to read, because I was not in love with the world anymore.
Yeah, what a huge insight to get.
Well, isn't it quite something here?
It's a really beautiful book. It's one
Oh,
that you
I love it.
read a chapter or two, and then you chew on that for months and months.
Oh, I love that. And so, Alison, when you read the book, you read the book, right?
In
Did
Love
you?
with the World, yeah.
Yeah, so you read it. And then can I ask how you felt in the end of that book? How you felt about the world then? Can you give a demonstration?
So it's, Nikki, it was it was really funny for me because it helped for me to distinguish in my words between the beauty in life
Mm.
and that was not what I had to expect from the world. So I didn't have to try and force myself to shift my focus about the world.
Yes.
I used a different word.
Ah. Oh. How freaking awesome is that?
Yeah. I'm
It
feeling
was.
lighter too.
Woo! Ah.
It really was for me. And what was,
Oh.
you know that thing about synchronicity? So I
Oh.
was clearing my,
Synchronicity. Oh, yes, that word.
yeah,
I
I've
love
been
it.
clearing crap
Oh.
done it for a while, but about a month ago I was clearing stuff and I found a little thing that I had written I think 20 years ago, more than that maybe even. I might have written it even before we left South Africa. And it was more or less exactly the same distinction, but I had forgotten.
Oh. Wow.
I'd forgotten that
Mm.
I'd made that distinction before.
Mhm.
Interesting, eh? That thing about it's
Wow.
all-
Wow. Freaking awesome. Amazing. Thank you, Alison.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
It was, Nikki, I was thinking about your celebration
Mm.
Mm.
and I think the outcome, it was better than it could have been, than I expected it to be. I love those outcomes.
Oh, me too. Oh, that was, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, really was so good.
And what was interesting was it was I'm just checking, just for learning. It's like separating from first person to a second person to
Mm.
observe the whole.
Mm. The old with the new.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then reminding that we are whole. Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
It was like out of that, Allison, out of that monkey mind, out of that first person. Is that our first person?
Mm. Interesting. Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, because these are the automatic patterns, right?
Oh, talk about patterns.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's
Yes,
about, sorry, Jess, go.
Go ahead.
Again, it's just that thing about awareness and focus, right?
Yeah.
You have the awareness that you've got it. So then you're, even without realizing, you asking yourself, well, what do I want? And what could it be?
Mm.
And that's what you did. You know, you said to yourself, No. Just put that impulsivity to the side table and have your coffee instead. It's
Oh,
amazing.
look at that new pattern, that replacing that old addictive pattern with something
Yeah.
new.
That I had done for years. This is years in the making. Right?
Yeah.
This is not just not just the something of a sort of situation. This is years,
Mhm.
and that's the beauty of the shift.
Yes.
And you get to witness it now. Yeah. Mm.
In every future situation where that old pattern would have played has a chance to play new.
There's it. Exactly.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And the relationship is built on trust, and it's built on knowing each other's intentions, and knowing always when things will come up, and it will come up. There's no question, because as long as you have relationships with people, things are going to come up, and the more they become true to themselves, the more patterns come up, and that is when you can reflect on each other and be able to invest in each other, and then say, because what's beauty about the circles of when we look at it as a victim and our creator is that we can look at each other and see what we don't see. And that's the beauty of having somebody else see, But when I could get into those two perspectives of myself and say, now, for what it is, where do I want to go with this? What are really my intentions?
Yeah.
What's
What
the
do
real
I
motive
want?
here? Yeah, what's the real motive here? And
Yeah.
it's and then because I value this, I value people in general, but when people are in my life, that is where I really invest. I put my time in, and yeah, it's just beautiful. Because the person felt validated. You follow? Felt like what Alison said earlier on. She felt validated. Oh, and I felt that too. And I thought, wow. And that gave her the open space to correct something in a beautiful way. It wasn't anything of wrong or right. It was just we got the solution. Yeah, the tension was but we resolved the tension because we got the solution, and that was just it was just so the obvious thing to do, and it was just easy. It wasn't like telling somebody. I love that. I'm really loving this place where I am. No need to tell people. Tension. It's the tension that we hold, the tension, and we ask, are we going to run away from this, or are we going to solve it? Because we're very quick to run away. But it's the real maturity. When you get to a maturity, and you grow up, you can actually look at it and say, I can hold the tension because tension is good now. I don't have to be afraid of tension. Because confrontation and people's perspective, people disagreeing, people don't like what you said, people don't like you in general for no reason. It's nothing personal, but in the same time, I have to stay in my own tension then to know that there's solution yet. There's nothing that I have to be to make you feel comfortable. If you're going to feel uncomfortable, that's your choice. I'm going to stay comfortable to follow. So this is where just knowing where you want to be and who you want to be around. Because I don't go around people that are toxic in a way that's going to make me feel uncomfortable, in a sense of that kind of tension, this destructive tension, I have to stay away from that. So it's a discernment of what and where you are now. So now I built that muscle. I really have. And it's not about just praising, or it's awareness of saying, Now I can go into that environment because this environment is not going to change me. I think this is when you know who you are. This is when you really know who you are. And then that you can stand and you don't have to have the shame. Because how I respond now is everything. It's all about how I respond to everything now. Because I always thought I needed to give it an answer. I've got to answer this. I've got to give it a yes immediately. No, I don't. I can wait. I can wait on the yes. And I can give it to you 2-3 days later and see, yeah, let's see about this, you know? Because that's also coming from an inner child where you didn't have a right to say what you wanted, or when you could say, you had to say yes. You were forced to say yes because you didn't have the right to say no. And that is the beautiful where I take myself as the child now to the adult in saying, now I'm the adult, I can say no. But then I can also say yes when I choose to say yes. Does that make sense? Because this is where I allowed myself to know where I am in the current reality, where I'm putting myself in the desired reality. And as a child, I always put myself in the desired reality, but I was stuck in the creative reality because that was all what I was building on, other people's perceptions, other people's rules, other people's ideas, what they told me, who I was. So for what it's worth, that I can come through this now and be here in knowing that now I'm not the child, I'm the adult.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I just choose to be an adult now. I just choose to be the adult. I don't have to be right.
Mm.
It's a beautiful thing, hey?
It's very freeing.
And I can detach that energy that I had with my dad, that I had to constantly defend myself, constantly protect myself even. Because there was danger, just very dangerous. It was a life and death experience I was experiencing. There's no question about that. But I don't allow that anymore to keep me stuck. Because not every man is dangerous. Not every man is you know, whatever you want to call the blanks. Yeah. And that perception of having to know that you can see it now.
So, Nikki, when you were talking just now about going to the truth of things, so during this week, I just had this little reformulation in my head, and it was about, so the field is an electromagnetic field, yes, and I don't know the exact percentages, but there's no doubt in my mind that it is ultimately still a field of love. It's the vibration of love. Because if it, as much as hate can foster, it doesn't ultimately win.
There's it. Yeah.
So my logic was, so the field is love. We're made up of little bits of information from the field. And the more we go to the truth, the more we go towards love. That was a nice little thing for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you both. That practice, that skill, it's seeing that pattern that, oh, I don't like that outcome.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, that's it, man. That's it. It's just like, me with making the decision of not drinking alcohol.
Mhm,
I mean, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of it, yeah?
mhm.
I don't like the outcome. I don't like the feeling. It does nothing for me. And I have no judgment on other people to drink. Drink as much as you want. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And knowing that I'm with people the next day and they can't function the next day. They got to wake up till noon to wake up, and they feel like shit. Excuse my language, but it's the truth. Hangover. Yeah. And all that nonsense. It's not fun. I don't choose to feel that. I don't like the outcome. I'm not saying you must drink to get drunk, but after 2 or 3 glasses, you are intoxicated. I mean, there's no way that you can't even get in behind the wheel. You shouldn't be getting behind the wheel if you drink. Yeah, alcohol. Yeah, it's dangerous, and that's what I remind myself. How do I want to feel? And that's simple. That's simple. I'm not here to confess and tell people what they need or what they must and this and this and that. No, it's what I'm choosing here because the outcome is not what I want. I don't feel good.
You were slowing down the moments of choice.
Yeah.
You're
And
slowing
people
down the
get
choice
uncomfortable.
points.
Yeah. They're so uncomfortable. They're so uncomfortable because they know the only way for them to de-stress is to have a drink. I have a friend every night. She actually tells me, "Oh, Nikki, I'm going to have my beer now." I'm not saying you can't drink beer. Drink as much you want. But what I'm saying is it became a habit for her because she landed up doing it repetitively. And then she took a feeling to it. And that feeling made her feel, oh, this makes me happy. Now that this makes me happy, now I'm going to drink every night. You see how the habit form comes so quick? The addiction, and you want to talk about addiction? That's addiction because it made her feel connected to her feelings. It made her happy. The unconscious is, yeah, this is making you happy. Take more. Take more. Now she doesn't drink 1 beer. She's drinking a 6-pack, like 6 of the stuff. Like how you call it, a 6-pack. From 1 to 6-pack.
That's what happens.
And then I said, and then I said, okay. And then she comes and then she's, oh, I'm gaining some weight now, Nikki. I go, yeah. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Is that a surprise for you? If I was drinking a case of beer a night, I would also be concerned about like feeling a little bit of extra weight coming on, So it's like, oh, okay, yeah. But then she has to go back and realize that this is not that makes her make her happy because it's made her unhappy now. Now she's unhappy. But now she's got the fact that, let's just have another one. Maybe that will just improve. It will improve my mood. And then what does she do? And then what does she do? She numbs it. Because why she numbs it? Alcohol numbs you. It numbs you. It doesn't make you feel then. Then you're drunk. Then Then I'm speaking, and then I speak to her while she's drunk. And then I say, I love you, but you gotta get a little sober till before you speak to me again. Because you're drunk. You're drunk. I can't talk to you. You're talking to yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Because she's not in her right sense. She's not in her right sense. So this is what I'm saying. This is what habits come into the play when addiction comes, because you allow that feeling to take the place of what you should be feeling and do it with a substance and then numb yourself. And then you wonder why it doesn't work.
So I
fall into that trap so quickly. You can fall into that trap so quickly. It's a rabbit hole. It just goes right down.
Nikki, did you I don't know if you had a chance to, but Pascal posted that interview with the Shaolin monk.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I didn't watch that yet. I have to watch
You
it.
will, you will love it because within the first 10 minutes, he starts to talk about exactly what you're talking about. But
Oh my God, I must listen to it.
yeah, his thing, which was really well phrased, was we can also become addicted to feeling good.
Mm,
And that's a very, very fine discernment and a very important one.
There's one way to do it and many ways not to.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that. When I get into the fixed mode and how to do something, I immediately know that's trying to me working out. I'm trying to work it out, you know?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I can feel my shift in my body. I can feel my energy. It goes totally down. Like I can get really start getting hopeless. I get actually get hopeless. I get feeling like this is just so hard, you know? And I just feel like, yeah, what's the point? Why do I have to put the effort? And you know,
Yes.
I realize again, that's okay because we're gonna have days like that because I have to experience sadness. I have to allow myself to experience sadness. I'm not saying I go for the sadness, but I have to experience it because I wasn't allowed to experience to be sad. I wasn't allowed to experience to be angry. Angry was a sin. You weren't allowed to be angry. And that is just emotion that needs to be expressed. As long as you don't continue in it, but it's part of life. You got to, that is something that needs, because it also is a way to know that the expression of what you're saying no to also and what you're saying yes to, you know?
Yes.
And for me, that's very important now. But when I do go into that place where I'm trying to fix it, I do understand it and I can feel it now. It's straight away shows, it feels in my body. And then I go, okay, so where am I really, not really honestly putting my power? And then it's almost like that unbending arm exercise, you know?
Yeah.
Just that beam of light comes out and go, woo, there you go. There you
Mhm.
go. I go, oh, there's the light. There's the light. There's the light. Go to the light. So I basically see the light and then I go to the light. And that is basically taking you from a low vibration to a high vibration, to the knowing and trying to fix it, to letting it go and letting it just be. And it can happen in matters of seconds. That's the power of really focusing. That's the power of me acknowledging about what is focused now for me.
That's great. So good.
And it's
And
a
it can
practice.
take a day. And it can
And
take
it
a
can
day.
take a day. And it can take even a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it because it's a practice. It's a practice. But as we practice, this is a practice. This is all of this is a practice.
Yeah.
And the more we practice, the better we become, because it's just a practice. And I love that, because it just gives you that ongoing, just that going, you know, keep going, just keep going. And that gives you that, one day I can go like this, and then one day I can go like that. Yeah.
So I'll end with this. I'll see if I can pull this together.
Pull
So,
it, baby. Pull it out.
Our
You got
bodies-
this, Alison.
Our bodies are a conglomeration of memory, right?
Oh, amen.
So, and that memory comes from the field of love ultimately.
Mm.
And the fact that we are incarnated into a body by some lineages of teaching is a testament to the courage that we had because we made a choice to be incarnated.
Yes.
And so when we realize that at times it is important to be and validate that very dense monkey mind experience, which can be in sadness, grief, anger, fear, all of those ones. What we are doing in essence is allowing our body to disentangle from all the memory. In other words, it's not only ours. And that is why the Tibetans say quite frequently, what we do for ourselves, we do for everybody.
Amen. That's what I say. That is so beautifully put. So beautifully put. And I'm so grateful to hear that, because when you get to do it for yourself, you're doing it for others. And that to me means everything. Oh my God. Because now I understand the multitude of that, the blessings that come with that. The knowing that it starts with you. It is so powerful.
And in that way,
it's so good.
In that way, we are co-collaborators, right?
Oh God, thank you.
And co-creators.
That's it. Amen. That's it. Amen. Beautiful.
Okay.
Love it.
Thank you for allowing me to.
That's a wrap, baby. That's a wrap, as they say. That's a wrap. Lights, camera, and action. Woo, woo. I love you. Oh my God, I love you.
Thank you.
I gotta just say, when you speak, and I know you now, so this is what really brings so much beauty to everything for me, is that you're so wise, but you have such a gentleness about you.
I don't know, like wisdom.
I know, but you do in your nature. You're like a dove. You really are a dove. I speak a dove because it's spirit. It's divine. And I just appreciate you so much. And hearing your heart and hearing and everything, and knowing all your skills that you have behind you, it's just an honor. I'm very honored. I'm grateful. Thank you. So thank you, Alison.
You're very welcome, Nikki. Thank you so much, everybody. It was a very good way to start my week. I hope to see you during the week at some point.
Yes, my queen.
Mhm.
That's our joke.
Yes,
that's our joke. That's not the boys. The boys don't have to know that. It's us.
But they should, Nikki, you should show them.
I know, but we gotta just keep our crowns on straight.
All right.
Love you guys.
Love you, Alison. Thanks.
Bye, Alison.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Alison. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
Life is just a pattern.
Mm.
Pattern of choices. Old choices and new choices. But awareness. Ooh, awareness.
Ooh.
So I was challenged yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good challenge, not in that way, but it was around awareness. And it was brush your teeth with your other hand, as one example.
Mm.
The example they used was, for me, are you a sock, shoe person?
Oh, interesting.
Or are you a shoe, sock? Sorry, a sock, shoe. There we go. So getting dressed in the morning. I put my 2 socks on and then I'll put my shoes on. The guy that shared it, what he says is that one person, he did it like in a challenge at the office. He said one person did it and it took a week for about the other 95% of them to remember to do it. That is a measure of awareness. And a measure of awareness is intentions. That is how gripped we are by our patterns. We just aren't aware of them. It was no problem this morning. Woke up, oh, interesting, let me try that. That does feel different. I don't know, maybe there's less movement. How weird. How cool. Wow, what a measure for awareness. And that's the practice that we do here, is we see our reactions, we see our patterns, we look at them, we examine them, we say, do we want those or do we want new ones? And for me, I know I start diffusing. Diffusing's a good one because that's the biggest pattern that I can see is stress and anger and trying to fix it, work it out, worry, all those things that situations are still there, right? It doesn't all go cherries. It's just how do I respond to them is the choice. And that is power. Ooh. Nothing better than allowing the truth of the moment, the truth of as it is, rather than hiding it, running from it, distracting from it, trying to make it something else. That's not living. It wasn't for me. Same thing, Nikki, that you said. It's like, oh, keep doing this, keep learning that, keep going for. It's like, oh, there's more to get out there. It's like, oh, I still do things that way, but it's a whole different intention, like you spoke yesterday, Craig. Just different intentions. Ooh, what nugget will I get out of this today? Oh man. Start looking for it. Rather than looking for what's wrong.
I was just so tired of being in this dysfunctional, patterns. I'm just tired of dysfunctional patterns, dysfunctional relationships. I'm just tired of it now. I'm so sick and tired of it that I'm sick and tired of it. And knowing that was my unconsciousness, that I was thriving because I was giving that out, not even knowing that I was, but it's unconsciously because of the patterns. And that is where the practice came into going through and not running away from it. And taking and knowing that I have to look within and go, okay, obviously there's something I'm doing here that needs to be corrected. And it's a humble experience, and that's all that is, that you can go humbly and say, okay,
Or keep being afraid of it, huh?
yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Well, guys, what a wonderful morning.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm gonna go have my coffee.
I'm having
Finished my
beautiful
walk.
salty.
Fin-
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Mhm.
Action, baby. Action. Camera, lights, action. Let's go.
That's right. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, you too, Jesse. Thank you.
Thanks.